Welcome to the MCast, everyone. We have the pleasure to welcome Curtis Killen, president of KBD Insurance, also a podcaster.
Yes.
And just want to say welcome, Curtis.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Thanks for joining us, my man.
Yeah, it's congrats on the new podcast. It's I've been seeing the clips on social media, so keep up the good work. It's not as easy as it looks. A lot of people think it's super easy, and it's not. So
it's not. And well, we remember when you started, and I was watching a lot of your clips as well.
Yeah, I still do.
Yes, we still do, obviously, and you know, it's obviously a growing trend in our industry, especially real estate. But I think it's a growing trend in our demographic as far as our age group is concerned. You know, our generation. I think that's the future. I also think radio is dying. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, radio's definitely dying.
Yeah, radio's dying. Podcasting is taking over. But the theme of this podcast is, what does it mean to live a good life? So I want to start with that. Curtis, what does it mean to live a good life?
What does it mean to good life? What does it mean to live a good life? That's a very good question, and I think it's going to be a little bit different for each person. Some people like to play sports. Some people like to read books. Some people like to spend time with their families. Some people like to go to live events, play music. So that's a good question. For me, what it means to live a good life is having a successful business, being competitive. I'm probably a bad example, so it's like the work-life balance. I'm more work than life, more than you should be, and it carries over into other aspects of my life, and this is something that I'm absolutely trying to work on. But I don't. That's a really difficult question to answer, like specifically, just because of the fact that, you know, there were times when I started making more money than I had in the past, and those were the times actually that I was least content with my life. I was going through some stuff at the time, just like everyone else. You know, we go through things, and so I don't think money is I absolutely know money is definitely not. More money is not necessarily going to make you happy, and many times having more money is probably going to make you less happy because it comes with the stresses. So I'm not really answering the question. It's a tough question to answer. But yeah, having like a work-life balance. I mean, just enjoy time. Try and live in the present, I guess, would be something that I would suggest.
There is no such thing as a balance, right? I mean, it's also being a president of KBD Insurance. You have responsibilities towards your colleagues, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
they rely on you every single day. That means a lot of stress.
It does, and I was thinking about this the other day. There are days when I come in and I don't want to have all the weight on my shoulders, and I do end up having all the weight on my shoulders. It's like you're like, damn, can I just like take a back seat? And you know what? You got to get up and you got to go do it anyway. So yeah, that brings stresses. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love what I do, so I'm not trying to complain about it. It's fantastic, and if I really love leading a company, but absolutely there are days where you're like, damn, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me today. And sometimes, you know, there is a lot of pressure.
And it's something that you try to figure out every single day. All right. So it's
I mean, some days are better than others, but
that's
like,
right.
Most of the days are actually fantastic days, you know. I like to live life and stuff, but yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, because I'm a firm believer of work. Like I like working, but I'm like almost a workaholic. So work, like you, takes over.
Yes.
And I work more than I enjoy life.
Yes.
I also got to a point in my life where I was making substantially more money than I used to. Mm-hmm. And to be quite honest with you, I went through burnout. I went through, mental stress and mental health issues. And I realized that, you know, like you said earlier, money and always working isn't everything. So you kind of have to have, like, I always call it like the 4 burners on a stove. If all 4 burners are going on at the same time and you're cooking 4 different things, you're probably not cooking anything well, you know, or you're going to overcook something, undercook something, or you're going to burn something. And that's where burnout comes in. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe put one of the, you know, stoves on low, and then like, you know, one of the other ones on higher, and then kind of have like a balance. You know, Ali always says this. He says there's no such thing as balance. I agree. But I think the balance is created, like you said earlier, within yourself, because there's some people that really enjoy spending time with their family. Mm-hmm. There's some people that we have a broker at the office that plays hockey like 3 times a week, and he's like in his 60s. you know. So, you know, but he has work-life balance. He's still doing well in real estate, right? So I think it all comes down to, you know, within yourself, what you really want to do.
What's well to this person maybe is not well to you, right? It depends on your lifestyle, right? If you like to go on 3 vacations, you like to have a golf membership, you like to have dinner out like 3-4 times a week, I'm sorry, that comes at a cost, right? So what do? You have to fucking work. You have to make more money.
It's so true.
That's the way how it is.
It's funny, my wife always says that to me. I'm always, you know, if I'm at a vacation or I'm at a really nice steakhouse and we're having a meal, or, you know, we're just anywhere that involves spending money. If I am in a situation where I'm a bit stressed out or I'm complaining about something or someone, she says, in order to have this, you need to do that.
Yeah, of course.
So at the end of the
Sounds
day,
like you have a good woman.
I'm very lucky, to be honest with you. I'm part of the reason why I'm where I am is because of her. You know, you have to have a good.
Well, that's a very supportive comment. If saying something like that,
Yes.
if your woman's basically, if your spouse or significant other is saying something like that, it's like shows that she supports what you do. It's very, very, very important.
So she's an entrepreneur. She comes from a family of entrepreneurs. Her dad's a serial entrepreneur.
Wow.
She owned her first business when she was in her mid-20s.
Okay.
While going to university and getting her master's.
Good for her.
What
was her business?
She started off helping out her father with his hotels.
Okay.
And then she opened up her own restaurant before we got married in her 20s.
Nice.
So she's a serial entrepreneur, and she was running a restaurant, a really nice one, in upstate New York. She's an American, so she's very entrepreneurial.
Okay.
They usually are, and I'm very lucky. You know, when it comes to that, I think you need that. You need a
teammate.
You need a teammate. It's a part of the process.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you have to create. You have to have a good environment in order to do what you want to do and grow. Right. I mean, if you have a partner that doesn't support the hours that you put in or work, you're gonna always be at stress and
Well, yeah, because then you got to go home like you're battling all day with whatever it is that's going on, and then you don't want to have to go home and then battle again and justify why you've been working all day. You want to come home and you want to kind of relax.
And I see that a lot in our industry. I see it a lot.
100%.
I see it a lot. And
it's like that's not good. That's a relationship that will not last. If you're worried about a battle, like battling all day, whether it's running a business, selling homes, or whatever it is that you're doing, you know, it's if you take your profession, whatever you do day to day seriously, it's a battle all day. It's a fun battle, but your brain's going all day.
100%.
The last thing you want is when you get home to have to go toe to toe with your spouse. That's not going to last long.
Yeah.
And it's a recipe to burnout too. So it's like most of the people that I know, they have a great a very supportive significant other, which is important. But yeah, if you got someone who doesn't support what it is that you do, either face the reality now, or I mean, you're gonna face it eventually because you'll just end up hating each other.
Okay.
Like imagine someone who has really big dreams and they come home and then their wife or their husband just kind of shits on their dreams. It's not that's not gonna last long.
So do you guys know the story of the gentleman who started Couche-Tard, the dépanneurs?
Alain Bouchard, is that his name? Didn't he start off like as working in the aisles? Like he was like a shelf boy?
Yeah, he was a shelf boy, I think, in convenience stores or grocery stores.
Yeah.
But from what I heard, the story was originally when he was younger, he had a job and he was married and he had a well-paying job. And a dépanneur was for sale in the area that he lived in and he wanted to buy it. And his wife said to him, "You want to buy a dépanneur? Like you're going to stand behind a cash register?" And he goes, "I want to buy a dépanneur and then create a chain of dépanneurs." And she goes, "It's either the dépanneur or me." And apparently his first wife left him.
I didn't know this.
I heard this story many years ago.
That must feel so good for him.
Yes.
she didn't buy into his vision.
Couche-Tard is in the States now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's all over. If I'm not
He's
mistaken,
the top 10 richest person in Canada.
Yes.
And he just bought a big chain in the UK as well not too long ago.
Bought 7-Eleven in US.
Yes.
I'm
That's
pretty
right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he buy in the UK? Do you know?
Not Tesco. The other one. I forgot the brand, but he bought something not too long ago in the UK.
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, he's getting really big. And it's crazy because my cousins and family from the rest of Canada that come visit us, they're like, these things you call dépanneurs.
Yes, yeah.
These things are amazing. Like, how is it that you can buy beer and wine while filling up your gas tank?
Yeah.
You know, they don't have that in Ontario.
You're right. It's interesting. Dépanneur it's unique to Quebec.
That's right.
If you go anywhere else, like in the world, dépanneur the term doesn't exist.
Dépanneur doesn't exist in the world, but that type of convenience store does exist in Paris and France.
Okay.
So when I went, I kind of realized that's what it is. You know, pick up your wine, grab a croissant, have a coffee,
Yeah.
but it's more like a trattoria
Yeah.
plus dépanneur. Like,
Yeah.
I think they have them in-
Riley.
Riley.
That's the camera guy. What the hell?
I think they have them in Italy as well, roadside grills. But yeah, so, you know, coming back to, you know, living a good life, you were talking about working, and your work kind of takes over, and it's more work than life. But outside of work, what do you enjoy? What do you do?
I like to play golf. I like to keep in shape. I like to exercise. I don't understand people that don't exercise. And for me, it's like I can't not exercise. I have to exercise or I will go insane. So I'm like, what I've learned about myself, and I think a lot of people are like this, so I'm absolutely addicted to dopamine, so in my brain. And so I try and get it from a healthy way, like exercise, as opposed to getting it from a bad way, like going out partying or stuff like that. You're getting the same release in your brain. It feels good in the moment, but you know, doing exercise, cold plunges are great, saunas are fantastic. I love doing that. Going to play squash. So I definitely have an active lifestyle. I'd say I exercise or do some type of physical activity 4 to 5 times per week. Like,
Are you a morning person, or it depends on the day?
I am.
Okay.
I like the mornings.
What's your morning routine?
Morning routine. I don't exercise in the morning. I actually exercise after work because it keeps me out of trouble. So my morning routine, I'll wake up, I open the blinds like as quickly as I can, and then I'll take I'm a big shower guy.
Okay.
I'll take showers for like 20 minutes, and I'll do it's my just kind of relax, start the day. Most days I'll do like a 3-minute full blast cold shower to start, and then basically, you know, just do my hair. But I'm in the bathroom for like a solid 30 minutes. But coming out of there, like, think about this. So, also too, and I love this. So I'll get cold shower, which gets you going. You do a 3-minute cold shower, like full blast, it gets you going.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So this is after a hot shower. So for those that be like, oh my God, 3 minutes. But if you start the shower hot, you don't have to start cold right away. You can if you want, but you're an absolute savage if you do that first thing in the morning. So I'll take the hot shower, then cold. So I get my dopamine there. Then I'll have like a little bit of caffeine, coffee.
Okay.
I like my coffee. That gives me another boost. And then on the way to work, I'll pop a Zyn. So that's like my nicotine. So I'm coming into work flying, ready to rock and roll. And that's how I like to start my day. So.
I love that. It's so interesting. I'm also someone that doesn't understand people that don't work out.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And when I wake up, it has become literally like brushing my teeth.
You do it every day?
I work out 6 days a week.
Good for you.
Plus I play hockey and I play golf.
Okay.
But when I work out in the morning, it's almost like if I don't work out and I come into the office, I'm like, you know, that feeling about what, you know, when you leave your watch at home or your cell phone.
You feel naked. Something's missing.
Something's missing, man.
Yeah.
And my demeanor, we've talked about this in previous podcasts. My demeanor, my mood, the way I approach things is totally different after a sweat session, rather than, you know, taking your shower, getting ready, grabbing a coffee, rushing, coming in. It's totally different, right?
Do you eat breakfast?
Actually, it's interesting you asked me that. I've started a new regimen where I wake up, 1 liter of water.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah, the Himalayan salt.
I forgot to mention that. Definitely first thing coffee and like a big. I'll take 2 like big glasses of water right away because you're dehydrated, right?
So me, it's 1 liter of water, which is like one of those, you know, shakers that are 1 liter or 900 milliliters, whatever.
Yeah.
And coffee, and then I go work out.
Yeah.
I come back, I get ready. I usually start my day in my home office, which is at home, and then I'll have either a late breakfast or early lunch. And it works for me. My wife, on the other hand, it doesn't work for her. Like, she gets up in the morning and she's like hangry. So she's like, she has to eat, and she can't go to the gym and really push and exercise because she loves working out too until she eats. Yeah. I love it because I actually start seeing the difference. I start feeling the difference on my waistline. Yeah. You know, or even the workout in general. If I decide to take pre-workout that day, like some sort of a creatine any pre-workout, you're flying, man, because you're taking it on an empty stomach, you know?
Yeah, you feel like $1 million.
It's like how buzzed you get after, you know, a shot of Jameson on an empty stomach. Yeah. You're going to get pretty buzzed, you know?
But it's like in the morning, I usually don't, I don't eat breakfast. And a lot of times now, and it's like I won't eat breakfast. I'll have a light lunch, and I'm getting better. There are many days where I won't eat until like 5 o'clock until my day's done, because I don't want to go eat something and then be tired after I eat. And this happens all the time at lunch. Like a lot of people, and it's completely normal. If you sit down, you have like a burger and fries, I'm not suggesting to do that, but if you have a burger, fries, Coca-Cola, I don't know how you go back to work.
No.
It's like, so, and I was finding just either, or I'll do this if I don't have as opposed to sitting down and having a sit down lunch, I'll have a smoothie. So Monster Gym is just around, like down the street from where I am. I'll literally drive there. I'll get a $12 smoothie, bit of protein, some berries, so it's still nice and light. I don't get that crash after from eating a big lunch, and I'm still productive throughout the day. But I'm moving further and further away from eating stuff during the day because it just takes away from my productivity.
So we talked about
my
that
mind.
yesterday.
My mind isn't as clear. Like, do you find even being a little bit hungry, I find my mind just super clear.
Well, I'm trying something. So I started 75 hard. I was early. Yes, I'm at first week of February, I believe.
I think you're halfway through.
I'm on day 57 today.
Okay, you're a little more than halfway through.
So
is this that it's like workout every day?
So yeah, I'm doing 2 workouts a day. CrossFit in the morning, and my afternoon workout is 45-minute walk or jog.
Okay.
I mean, there are a few things that I have to stick to. No alcohol at all. And when I first started, I've eliminated all the processed food, no alcohol, and I've been consuming whole food, and I will eat whenever I'm hungry. Halfway through, and said, you know what, I'm gonna try something different. I've been following this carnivore diet on YouTube for a long time, and I've been doing a lot of research about it. My wife was against it because of my blood work, and I don't advise anyone to do this. Do your homework before you do it. Today it's 30 days that I've been sugar-free. All what I consume is meat, water, black coffee, bit of cheese.
What kind of meat?
It's red meat, poultry, fish, but mostly red meat. 3 weeks ago, I went to see my family doctor for my annual checkup, and I told him, listen, I'm doing something that you may not agree with. When I told him to me, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, but that's doctors, man.
Your cholesterol level is very high. Your enzyme liver is like outrageous, and my liver was fatty for a long time. So he gave me blood work to do now, and every 3 months to monitor how things are. So I was telling the boys earlier, I did my blood work and everything went down after 3 weeks. My cholesterol at its best. My enzyme liver went down to 33. The range is between 30 and 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I feel great. But the biggest takeaway from this is the clarity that I feel every single day. I'm sleeping well. So far it's going good. So I'm gonna keep at it, see where it takes me.
It's always interesting because you really gotta, because someone who doesn't believe in the carnivore diet, I'm not one, like, I don't know if it works. I think there's something for everyone. But it could be someone would, if I'm gonna play devil's advocate, they'd say, well, you're not drinking. That's gonna help with your sleep and other stuff. You know, no one needs to be lectured on the benefits of not drinking, right? So not drinking would help. Exercise every day would help as well.
And once you eliminate the processed food, also will help.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's like the devil's advocate to that,
right.
And then I think it would just take a long time. But hey, I mean, I listen to Jordan Peterson from time to time, a lot less recently because I feel like he's getting quite dark, and it's kind of, I feel depressed after listening to him. So, but one thing is like, look, I'm not suggesting it, but he goes, I eat meat like you. He goes, that's all I do. He goes, this went down, that went down. I'm healthier. I do this. Yeah. It is what it is. I feel great, and my blood work says that I'm healthy, so I'm going to keep doing it. And
it's only been 30 days for me, so we can probably have this conversation in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
But as I said to Ray yesterday, I have never felt so good as I am right now.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Yeah. Are you able to sell more homes?
Pardon me?
You're able to sell more homes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We talked about that yesterday. I was doing my 24-hour water fast with like apple cider vinegar, Himalayan salt, all that. So it's just drinking water for 24 hours. Yeah. And electrolytes. And he came into my office and we started talking, and you know, it was a point in the day where, you know, I would have been just post lunch, but I had so much clarity and focus. I was just flying through like my database, doing my spreadsheets, following up with clients. It was like one thing after the other. so different than, you know, eating a rib steak with butter on it, or having a bowl of pasta at lunch and
You're
then coming
finished.
back to the
You're
office.
done.
You finish.
You're
Yeah,
finished.
everyone thinks it's the glass of wine or
finished.
the beer that's going to make you tired. It's not.
Done.
It's the butter and oil.
Yeah. Especially a pasta.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Done. Your day's done.
Pasta's good for Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Go home after a pasta.
Exactly. so you know, yesterday we were talking, and you know, Ali, you know, keeps me accountable. I keep him accountable. We talk to each other about business, life, everything. Hence why this podcast came together.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we talked about was, once you start feeling, looking, and doing better personally, it translates into everything else in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you start losing weight, you know, wearing nicer clothes, if that's your, you know, that's what you want to do after you lose weight, or changing your wardrobe, and then, you know, having more energy, having clarity, not being as, you know, frustrated or you know, tired during the day or irritated, it's going to translate into everything you do. You're going to be a better parent. You're going to be a better husband. You're going to be a better real estate broker. You're going to be a better business person. You're going to have sustained energy.
And better leader too. I mean, like
better athlete for sports. So
of
like
course.
it's
Yeah.
I mean, especially in your line of work, I mean, being the president of your firm and have people who rely on you, and you have like a lot of salespeople. How do you hold these guys accountable, and how do you lead by example every single day? It depends. Having, you know, sometimes you have a bad day, or you don't feel like it, but you still have to show that you're there for them, to support them. And how do you, what's your secret sauce for that?
That's another interesting question. So let's start with the first part. So keeping people accountable. So at our company, one thing, and it's easy for insurance to kind of quantify things because it's all numbers all day. Like I always say that we're just legalized bookies. It's a bet, you know. You're placing a bet that you'll make a claim, and we're placing a bet that you won't make a claim, and we'll make the spread. So
you're hedging each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like all we're selling you is if you think about it, it's a contract, and there's like service behind it. It's a piece of paper. That's all it is. But to keep people accountable, I'm very lucky in our industry. A lot of numbers and a lot of, like, it just comes down to, so if you're a salesperson and let's say selling home and car insurance, basically all you're going to do is so there's this many quotes per week. Here's your closing ratio. You can average it out over the course of a year. And then you just go, okay, these are the amount of quotes you need to hit per week. This should be your closing ratio. This is going to be your paycheck or your commission check at the end of 12 months. Like it's very predictable insurance. So like we have a retention, it's going to hover between a 2% range throughout the year. Commercial insurance is very similar. So it's a very, very, very predictive business model. It can take long to build it up. But once it's built, it's kind of like it just renews year after year after year after year, and it's a very, 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 very stable. So,
okay. And how do you try to stand out from your competition?
Honestly, it's like
there's
this. I'm reading a book right now called PBD. Bet David recommended it. One of his number one Blue Ocean strategies.
That's right,
so
yeah.
I'm reading that right now, and I'm trying to think, because in an industry like insurance, I'm trying to think, how the hell do I stand out amongst a red sea of competitors that are all selling and going after the same thing. So I'm constantly trying to think about that. And I don't have the answer yet. But what I can say is you'd be surprised at how many insurance brokers and other industries as well, how well you'll do in the industry if you just do what you say you're going to do, answer their questions, and follow up when you say you're going to follow up. Like if you're just persistent, the most simple things, you'll be successful in business. The amount of people that say they're going to do something and then don't do it, or they flake, or they're full of shit, they blow smoke up your ass. Like I don't understand why people do this. If you're just like an honest business person and you kind of just answer the phone or you prospect when you're supposed to be prospecting, just keeping it simple, you'll grow over time. So to answer your question, to stand out against my competitors, I just try and be offensive minded in the sense that we try and go after business as opposed to business coming to us.
Okay.
And in order to do that, we just need to keep, it's a lot of training, a lot of trying to hire the right people, like in any business. But I'm going to be honest, this last point I'll say, it is very difficult to stand out amongst other insurance brokers and insurance companies because it's a product that everybody has.
That's right.
So I'm having trouble. We put a lot of effort into marketing. But I'm having trouble really differentiating us versus another competitor outside of expertise.
So our business is exactly like that. The amount of brokers that don't follow up, don't do their job, don't prospect, and even when they have business sitting right in front of them, don't do their job. I can name you thousands.
I'm sure.
And the funny thing is that in my 16 years in this business, I've realized that showing up, half of the job is done.
Yeah.
I know people that get their real estate license, but they're so nervous to go to a listing appointment. And I'm not talking about new brokers. I'm talking about even brokers that are experienced. But I remember having a conversation with a broker a few years ago, or about a year ago, and I said, aren't you interested in being a listing broker, like getting listings? And the answer to me was, well, I don't want to really take on the responsibility of listing someone's house and then like paying for marketing and the photo shoot and all that. And I was thinking to myself,
are they still a broker today?
Yes, I think. I mean, I haven't spoken to them, but I was blown away. I was like, that's unbelievable. How a lot of people have become real estate brokers, especially in the past 2 years. In fact, we're hovering around 16,000 now.
That's in Quebec?
In Quebec, okay. That are doing it simply based on the fact that they think that they're just going to show up and make a 2, 3, 4, 5% commission. And like you said, it's the follow-up, holding one accountable. I hold myself accountable. I treat my business like a business and not a job. And then, we bounce ideas off of each other. Like yesterday, I walked into his office and I said, what would you do in this situation? And he goes, well, this is what I do. Let me show you what we have. Mm-hmm. And then at night, he sent me an example from Patrick Bet-David about spreadsheets, which I asked him about, and how he does things. In fact, Patrick Bet-David, coming back to your business, he's also from the insurance industry.
He's from insurance. He was in life insurance, though. But he spread it out, and this was his blue ocean. He really leveraged social media. And so basically, so they weren't all like, it was very similar to like M. Basically, like M would be the banner. So I think it was called PHP. PHP agency was the name of their agency. And so they weren't like his direct employees, but they would basically be people, and the PHP agency would just take a cut of whatever the life insurance.
And they've grown it to 50,000 brokers in the States, and he actually sold it for over,
said 200 mil, I think.
No, 500.
What?
500 million?
No. I think it was 200. He's worth 500 now.
Yes, his net
worth.
He
has a lot of real estate.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's a damn good businessman. He's he's a man's man.
Yeah, he is.
When you see him, good family values. There's a lot of influencers out there that are not, you can tell they're fake.
Yes.
A guy like that, you can tell he takes his life seriously. Yeah. He believes in God. He takes his family very seriously. He takes his business. Like everything he does it like he's all in, and you're gonna get his full attention. That's why I really enjoy.
Well, the segment that I shared with Ray yesterday, I mean, he basically talks about how social media is just a tool to get you out there for brand awareness.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the basics of doing business should never change. Maintaining good relationships, get back to people when you should be getting back to people, right?
It's everything.
Reaching out to your past clients, the little things the basic will never change, and that's where a lot of salespeople get distracted with the new tools, and they think it's gonna save them, it's gonna get them business, but that's not the reality. No,
it's not. And just because you're a little bit, this goes for anyone. There's days that I show up and days in the past where I was afraid to do certain things. Like when I first started off in insurance, I started off for 3 months. I just cold called. So I didn't have my insurance license yet, so I just cold called people. First time I was there, it's I was nervous. I didn't really. It's not. I'm not gonna say it was fun, but your job can't always be fun. It's just get over it. And there's too much. I find mental health is definitely a thing. I'm not saying it's not, but I find it can be used to mask, or it can be used as an excuse sometimes to. I really don't feel like doing this today. It's suck it up, man. Just fucking go do it. Yes. Sometimes I think there's a healthy somewhere, people can meet somewhere in the middle. It's always like that. You can always find it somewhere in the middle, but I can't stand when someone, what's the word? You know, I see someone and they always have an excuse for something.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand that, man.
Well,
it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to work with you. I don't want you to work for me. Get away from me.
Yeah.
Well,
there's people that constantly walk around even in July with a dark cloud over their head.
Yeah. You gotta stay away from those people.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of them. I mean, you could find them in your family. You could find them in your friendships.
Yeah.
You can find them in business. The one thing I realize is, as you mentioned, that you don't understand, or you don't like people, or you didn't say you don't understand people that don't work out. Yeah.
Oh, that workout? Sorry.
Yeah, workout. You're not gonna not like them. Yeah. You don't understand people that don't work out. You don't like people that are negative, and then they're just walking around with a dark cloud over their head.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel people are born with the entrepreneurial, DNA?
Yes.
Or do you think that it's something that you can become?
I think it's both. And I think there are definitely better entrepreneurs than others. I mean, we do commercial insurance for a lot of businesses. Sometimes when I'm speaking with the clients and they're asking me these questions, and this is a business owner, and in my head I'm going, man, you should not be running a business right now, the questions you're asking me. And I can relate really well to them because I run a business myself. So some people definitely are going to have it easier than others when it comes to just running a business, whether that's leadership, just being smart. It really depends on a bunch of things. But the guy who is, let's say, more talented will always be beaten. Let's say talented, not hard work, or talented and 50% of work ethic, versus someone who has a little bit less talent but 100% work ethic. In the long run, that person is always going to win. So I think work ethic, like, again, let's just take Patrick Bet-David. I don't think Patrick Bet-David is the smartest or most well-spoken guy. He's definitely well-spoken and smart. I honestly think that's him. He is definitely likable, but he reads a lot, as he says. And I think he's improved on his skills over the years. Again, I don't know him personally, but if I had to guess, he just works his fucking ass off. And I think that's why he's such a good business person and such a good family man as well. Like, he takes these things really seriously. He's a great role model. So I think work ethic is absolutely more important than talent. I don't know if that answers your question.
Money makes you smart.
It does, but
yes.
Can I add one thing into this?
Yeah, sure.
So I think you don't have to have the highest IQ. You don't have to be the smartest person to go far in life, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, you have to work hard. Mm-hmm. But the other thing also, you have to be able to manage stress.
Yes.
The more things you acquire, the more responsibility you have, you're going to have a lot of stress.
Yeah.
If you can manage your stress, I think...
Can I say something just before I forget? So just on this topic, and the other day, and I haven't done this in forever, and I'm sure we're all guilty of it. I sat back, I'm going through something at work. It's a big transaction, and I'm very stressed about it. Like, it's just dragging on and on. I just want to get it over with. And finally, the other day, this was like literally 2 days ago, and I sat down and I went, okay, look at where the company started. Look where it's at today. And I was looking at all the numbers and going like, damn, Curtis, like, enjoy this, man. Like, look where the company is and what we're, I don't want to say arguing, what I'm trying to get over. It's like, okay, it's such a small thing versus where the company's at today. And the point I'm trying to make is to just take a step back and pat yourself on the back every once in a while. And it's okay to do. And I found that dropped my stress significantly. And I'm just like, wow, okay, like, dude, you've done a really good job here. Because I'm sure we're all the same, and entrepreneurs tend to be like this. We're very hard. We're our toughest critic. We're very hard on ourselves. And sometimes it's okay to, pat yourself on the back, say you did a good job, and to just go, relax.
Well, you know what you just did? It's at the beginning of the conversation. You said, I think what it means to live a good life is living in the moment. You lived in the moment.
Yes.
You didn't live in the future, which is closing the transaction.
Correct.
You didn't live in the past where you started and you were cold calling for 3 months. You were in the moment saying, man, you're here. You've made it.
Yeah,
you've done it.
Like, enjoy it for a bit.
Exactly.
Man. Yeah.
And Ali was touching just a minute ago. He was touching on managing stress and being able to take on responsibility and how to manage stress. One of the ways to do that is what you're doing. Work out, eat clean, limit or cut alcohol, and feel energized and clear every single day. And managing stress, half of the battle is taken care of.
That will absolutely take off like anxiety. If someone is experiencing anxiety, and some people like, that's one thing. Everyone has like depression or anxiety. Like, anxiety, I would say, is my thing. It's not crippling anxiety. Just sometimes I get anxious, as I'm sure everyone else. Yes. The two things I find, it's like exercise by far, and I'm gonna be that guy and the cold plunge. I love that. Yeah. But like exercise is the biggest thing. Absolutely. Because it gives you that fix that I need after work, especially if you're all high strung. Like, okay, I need to go release this somehow, and exercise is kind of my gateway.
Going back to exercise, I know you've done a couple of triathlons.
I have, yeah. I'm a triathlete.
Yeah,
I'm not a triathlete.
Oh, listen, it's in my bucket list to do. Nice. I used to run. I've done like 4 full marathons in the past.
Good for you. Like full marathons?
Yeah.
Were you a soccer player too? Because you're Moroccan.
We played soccer growing up back in Morocco and Spain, so it was part of the culture.
I'm sure.
Every weekend that was our gig with the boys, and we played.
Nice.
But going back to triathlons, it's something that it's been in my mind, and I got a fancy bike, I got this and that, but I've never really. I signed up to one. I got cancelled before Tremblant one. It was 2021 when it was COVID. 2020. Yeah. And the event got cancelled, so I just gave up on doing it. What was it like, and how did you prep for this?
I'll give you a tip if you really want to do one, and this goes for anything. Basically like you have to schedule it first. So schedule it. Don't go, I'll train and then I'll see if I want to do triathlon. Buy the ticket whenever you're going to do it. Like obviously give yourself time to train, but have the date set, and that's way better than just going, okay, I'm going to get in shape and then maybe I'll do a triathlon. Okay. You'll never do it that way. So maybe you will, but you're going to increase your chances if you just buy the ticket.
Oh, and that's what I did. I bought my ticket.
But I'm saying if you want to do it again, because that was COVID year probably or something. Yeah. So if you want to do it again, that's what I would suggest. But the original reason why I did a triathlon was to actually overcome my fear of swimming in the lake. I'm a good swimmer, but when I can't see the bottom, I freak the F out. I really am uncomfortable swimming in a lake.
Wow.
And so I wanted to overcome that fear because it's an illogical fear. There's nothing in the lake that's going to hurt you. And so I wanted to overcome that fear, and I did. But the night before my first triathlon, it's good now. Like I'm used to it. The night before, I barely slept. I think I slept like an hour. I had bed sweats. I had nightmares. It was bad. I was freaking the hell out for the swim.
And was like a half Ironman?
So I did an Olympic triathlon. Okay. So it's a 1.5 kilometer swim. Okay. There's a 40 kilometer bike right after, and then there's a 10 kilometer run to finish. Okay. So, but each year I've done it, my time's gotten like progressively better. And then last year I had my best time. I think it was 2 hours and 42 minutes for the whole thing. Okay. Good. And I'm gonna do one again this year. And
when?
I haven't signed up yet, so I'm being a bad boy. Because I want to do a different venue. I'd like to go actually like to the US or something, cruise around and do something there. But again, I'm gonna have to overcome my fear of swimming in the lake again, because they do it in the one I did. It's at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, so it's like the Olympic basin. So there are points in the water you can actually see the bottom, which is comforting for me. Okay. But the next triathlon I'm probably gonna end up doing is gonna be in a deep lake, like the Tremblant triathlon. Yes. When you're swimming in that lake, like you're literally swimming and it's just dark deepness and depth below you. And I can't get out of my mind like, oh my God, there's 200 feet of I don't know what below me, and it freaks me the hell out. Okay. But I'm going to do it again because I like the challenge. It's a mental challenge. It's kind of like playing golf. Golf, when you start getting good at golf, it's the mental aspect is the hardest and toughest and most enjoyable part. It is, yeah. Because especially when you're playing in competitions, like you get nervous. People say they're not nervous, they get nervous. Yes. But the pressure you're creating it yourself. Nobody actually cares about what you're about to do. Dude, you're an amateur golfer. You're not playing on the PG Tour, about to win the Masters. Like nobody gives a shit about whether you're going to make this putt or not.
And we think that they are going to judge us, or they're going to,
But that's why people get nervous.
That's exactly. In golf. No one cares about you, man.
Nobody cares.
It's your own game.
Yes. It's your own game.
It's your own game.
It's fears. Like you're talking about the lake. Everything, you could apply that to everything in life. It's fears. I have 2 questions to ask. First question is, leading up to a triathlon like that, explain your diet to me. Walk me through your diet. What does your diet look like?
I don't change. Like my diet today is the same as my diet when I'm training right before a triathlon. So it's just I kind of do intermittent fasting, just not intentionally. That's just kind of the way I eat, because I don't eat a breakfast. I eat a really light lunch, then I'll have like a bigger dinner. But I just try. I don't eat a lot of carbs. I stay away from things like pasta. I try not to eat refined sugars. I love pasta, but the big thing is like pasta and bread. If you could cut pasta and bread and like candy out of your diet, a lot of people, you're gonna lose a lot of weight. You're gonna feel better. So that's probably just the one thing that I try and stay away from. And I'm quite disciplined. And after, years of just not eating carbs, I grew up, I didn't really eat a lot of pasta either. So it's quite easy for me. So for example, instead of getting rice with the dish, I don't particularly enjoy rice. I'll just get it with veggies. To me, it's like white rice is just empty calories. Some people love it, and that's fine. But I don't enjoy it enough to eat it. And then like I don't love it. Versus salt and vinegar chips, that I have a hard time saying no to. Like that.
So you're not a sweet tooth guy, you're a salt guy.
I'm a salt guy.
Yeah.
Especially after a few pints.
Yeah, I'm a salt guy.
Yeah.
I'm a salt guy with.
Do you drink?
I drink, yeah.
Yeah. So, but leading up to a triathlon, you cut alcohol like.
No, not even. Well, I'll drink less, significantly less.
Yeah.
Because like also too during your training, I mean, if you have a couple pops the night before, your training is not nearly as. It's you're like a different person.
Oh, I've realized that.
Yeah.
I've realized that even if I have a glass or 2 glasses of wine the night before going to the gym, I feel it the next day. I think it's mental too, but it's also your
sleep.
stamina. Your sleep.
It does affect your sleep.
Yeah, it affects your sleep big time.
Yeah.
It affects REM, right?
That's
like
right.
I have the Whoop. I've been wearing this now for like 3 years. I was one of the early adopters.
Yeah. I use Oura Ring.
But yeah, so it's like it's not gonna help you sleep better, but it will help bring attention to you how to create better habits for sleep.
Yeah, what time to sleep, what time to wake up, keeping
Yeah.
the same cycle.
Correct.
I just got back from a 3-week overseas trip in India and Dubai. So the first few days that I was back, I was like
A wreck.
I was a wreck. I was a zombie, but for some reason I had crazy amounts of energy, but I knew it was just adrenaline because I was back and people were calling me, you're back, okay, we want to do this, we want to sell this, we want to buy this. So you have all this adrenaline, you're like, I'm going to run through walls, But what happens is you hit a wall, literally.
Yeah.
You want to run through walls, but you hit a wall. So I hit a wall this weekend and I had to sleep for like hours and hours, but I felt much better.
And now you're back.
I'm back. I'm a huge follower and advocate of like helping, like not helping, but improving your sleep habits.
Yes.
How to get better sleep. Last year I had stopped drinking alcohol completely, not a drop of alcohol for 9 months.
Wow.
It completely changed the way I looked, the way I felt, my mental health, but most of all my sleep. I would wake up every morning and
Feeling good, yeah.
it's the best day in the world.
Yeah, you feel amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question. How was Dubai?
Dubai is
I want to go.
so I've been to Dubai twice. I went for my 40th birthday and then I went now with my wife and kids. Dubai to me is a place where if I wasn't in Montreal with an established business, I would be living there.
And I feel like too, you could make, you guys are in real estate. I feel like it's booming over there and
Very volatile though. Booming, but very volatile.
How so?
So it's the market there. It's not like here where it's like gradually like this and then it tapers off. The market there could spike, it could fall, it can spike again. Right now, it's in a very good place. It's even a good time to buy. I have, not researched but explored possibilities to working in some capacity, either with a developer there or there. And one thing I've realized about living there or working there is that you're in a place where everything is acceptable as long as you respect their faith. And for me, I'm very comfortable there. I'm not Muslim, but I'm very comfortable there. There's a lot of Indian, Sikh, Punjabi people that live in Dubai. So when you're in like the shopping malls or you grab an Uber or you decide to go buy gold at the gold souk or whatever, the guy is Indian. He's from where I'm from, So it almost feels like you're living in India, But the place is unbelievable. I tell everyone
like I hear it's safe, it's clean.
Oh yeah.
It's
okay, so
safe.
you can leave your wallet out on your table.
You're good.
Walk away, watch the fountain show at the Burj Khalifa.
It's still there.
Come back and your wallet's still there.
Yeah.
Because trust me, no one's stealing your wallet there. Yeah. And
Like
even for
will
women.
they kill you if you get caught stealing?
I don't know what the
more severe than here.
I know if you're someone that's visiting, I know you're never allowed back ever again. So if you steal something while visiting, they'll never allow you back. Like their customs is so advanced technologically. When you enter their country, they take a photograph of you, your eyes, your fingerprints, and then when you leave, they do the same thing. So if you're caught doing anything in that country or that city,
You're done.
and you were caught on CCTV camera, when you're leaving the country and boarding your flight back to Montreal, the camera is going to know it was you. And the customs officer is going to know it's you, right?
Interesting.
So I personally love it. I know Ali should touch on this because he's been there like 20 times.
I've been there 9 times, and I've witnessed the progress. My first visit was in 2004, 4 and 6, and it's just so Dubai just growing since.
What do you think it is? Because it's like I'm fascinated by cities like this that are kind of, they're pro-business or pro...
Yeah, well, it's run like a business.
Yeah.
Right? It's run like a business. And people think, well, it's tax-free environment. Well, no. They incorporate the tax into what you're going to be buying, right? So they give you that illusion there's no taxes, but that's why life is expensive there.
As Ali said, it's definitely run like a business. In fact, the Sheikh, I didn't get to pick up his book. I saw it everywhere though, in the gift shops. I am going to get it. He is a visionary, and one of the lines, I'm not quoting him exactly the way he said it, but one of the lines he said is that the word impossible doesn't exist to us. So like when they built the Burj Khalifa, when they built the Palm Islands, like he's pushing the envelope completely. And other countries in the Middle East are following suit. Saudi Arabia just lifted the ban on alcohol. And Dubai is working on bringing in a casino. So, it's going to be, everyone, when you go there, which I know you will.
It's on my bucket
yes,
list.
when you go there, you're going to realize when you're sitting by the pool and, you're smoking your shisha or you're having a drink, everyone around you is from Russia, the UK, other parts of the Middle East, and instead of coming over to North America, South America, the Caribbean, Mexico, Vegas, they all go there.
Yeah.
And the only thing they're missing there, because everyone goes to like Macau for gambling, the only thing missing there is a casino. And once they get a casino, it's already visited by a record amount of people.
Yeah, it's going to be the Monaco of the Middle East.
It's going to be the Monaco of the Middle East. Yeah. Exactly. Even better. I've been to Monaco. Yeah. I had the pleasure to go to Monaco with a developer that took us. I realized that Monaco is nothing. Monaco's very small and very limited compared to Dubai. Dubai still has so much opportunity and so much growth that's going to happen, that from a real estate standpoint, it's still a good time.
It's so nice to see, and hopefully I have a theory on the Middle East as, the business, because they have oil, but they're trying to build up their tourism section as well. So that, oil, eventually one day it's not going to be there. And because the Middle East is booming, it definitely is, not all parts of the Middle East, but hopefully this will drop the conflict, because war at the end of the day, it's not good for business, especially for tourist business. So hopefully as time goes on, this will help drop the amount of conflict that takes place in the Middle East. I mean, I'm 35, since I've been born, I can remember there's just conflict after conflict after conflict after conflict. I know it's very complicated and I'm not an expert on it, but hopefully this will kind of calm down the area, because some Middle Eastern countries will just go, no, we're not putting up with this. And they'll nip it in the butt right away, because it's like, this is bad for business, and they'll fix it. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hope that this ends up being one of the outcomes.
If you look at the United Arab Emirates, all of the sheikhs run all of the states or countries, for that matter, or areas. They all run them like businesses.
Yeah.
You never hear that Dubai is involved in this war, or they are the ones supplying the weapons here.
Never.
Or I
think more other Arab countries will follow suit, because they're going to see, damn, look at the life they're living.
Saudi Arabia has started.
Yeah.
Well, it aligns with the theme of our podcast, what it means to live a better life.
Yeah.
Good life, right?
No one wants to be in
and
a
that's the
perpetual...
way how the place is run.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine just living in a perpetual state of war. I mean, it must be terrible. We're very fortunate to kind of live in a country like this. We complain about a lot of things because it's easy to do, but at the end of the day, you know, we don't have to worry about getting shot.
I mean, and the grass is not always green on your side. Yeah. So
why did you ever move to, or did you ever think of moving to Dubai? Or at the beginning?
I've always been a big fan of the Western culture.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
of the Western culture.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It just speaks to me.
Do you find that Westerners shake their finger too much to other cultures sometimes? Like if you don't live the way I live, I find we can be very arrogant at times. Like I don't like when we kind of shake our finger at the Middle East, for example, or like a Christian might shake their finger at a Muslim or something like that, and not like in a racist way, but kind of just this is how it's supposed to be done. And I find they can be.
So I'll just touch on this. This is a controversial point, but I'm going to say it on this podcast.
Do it.
Those people in Quebec or other parts of the U.S. that shake their finger, and say do it our way, or don't do it. Do me a favor, fly down to those countries, see the way they live, understand who they are, respect them for who they are and how hard they had to work and how they prayed every day just to get here and have something, even if it means a basement apartment in the West Island. When you go to other countries, like I went to India now after 35 years, you have no idea how grateful I am that my mom and dad packed their bags, came here when they were teenagers. My dad went to school in Montreal. He started a business in Montreal. And I joked with my mom and dad. I said, if you didn't do that, I would have still been back in that village. Like my cousin is. And I just met him after 35 years.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. I met my cousin after 35 years, you know. Last time
Did
I saw him.
Did he look like you?
Not really.
He's tall and handsome.
He's tall, but no, he didn't look like me. But it's interesting because the lifestyle there is completely different, and they all at one point or another want to get out. So when people here do shake their fingers or they look at that, I tell them, do me a favor and just go see how people live. You know, stop going to the Caribbean and New York City and thinking that's life.
I have a question, and I know I know you guys want to wrap up soon, but so all the people that so Canada, GTA in particular is a really big place where we immigrate a lot of Indians, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I know we don't have enough time to kind of dive into this, like, you know, Canada's productivity issue and all this kind of stuff. But when Indians are coming now to, what do they say about a place like Brampton, or what do they say about a place like Montreal? What do they say about it now versus 10 years ago? Do they say don't bother going there anymore, or would it still be considered better than that village?
So I have a lot of family in Brampton and Surrey, BC. Okay. So the three areas in North America with the most Punjabis and Sikhs are Brampton, Ontario, Surrey, BC, and Fresno and Sacramento in the Bay Area in California. Okay. These are the three areas. New York is leading too. People that come from India to Brampton, the thing with Punjabi people and Indian people is that they always want to move where their people live. That's why a lot of my business is focused on St. Lazare, Vaudreuil, Hudson, and the West Island, because a lot of the Punjabi people have bought there and lived there and live in the same area. People like me that are born and raised in Montreal, we don't look at life that way. I'd rather live next to Curtis and Ali, the Moroccan guy and the English guy, right? Yeah. So that's me, but not everyone's like that. So when they look at these places, they go there because they're more comfortable. When they go to the bank, the teller can speak to them in Punjabi. So they're a little more comfortable. It's more of a culture thing. Yeah, it's like Italians in St. Leonard, Greeks in Laval, Jewish people in Côte-Saint-Luc. It's the same pattern. It's just they picked different parts of Canada or North America.
Thank you for joining us today, man. That was good.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
This was one of the most enjoyable podcasts I've ever had.
I appreciate that.
No disrespect to any other guest.
Do you say that to all your guests?
No, Raymond. You could look back. You could look back and watch. I might have said it to maybe one.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, this was one of the. We are definitely
We will do this again.
We are
and
definitely
again.
going to do
and
the
again,
following
and
three
again.
things.
Yeah.
We're going to definitely have lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're going to play a round of golf together.
That's right.
And we're going to have you back on the podcast.
I like that. I
Maybe
like
we
the
can
sound
do
of
the
that.
podcast at your golf club.
Yeah. Well, he's a member of the
I know.
Discord.
Yeah.
Or we could even come by. We could do it on my at my office. I got all the gear set up.
There you go.
That too, then we can go rip
So,
around the golf.
speaking of which, I want you to tell everyone about your podcast.
Sure.
Give it a plug. And I want you to tell everyone how they could reach you and what type of insurance you offer.
All right, so it's the Freemium Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find us pretty much anywhere. So Freemium Podcast. And for insurance, home, car, or business insurance, we're called KBD Insurance. We're in the West Island. Probably heard our ads on the radio. Probably heard our ads on some other places. But yeah, check us out.
I'm going to leave with this. You're killing the real estate game. Not the real estate game. Sorry. You're killing the insurance game.
I was going to be like, what?
You're killing the insurance game.
I appreciate that. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
That's pretty much it. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Thank
this
you,
has
guys.
been amazing. Thank you.